There is a place, not here or there, but somewhere in between. There is a space in the thin air that really can't be seen. If you listen and observe, you may be surprised. Some may call it Camelot or even paradise. Some may say you cross a bridge, others through a door. But all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore. Evermore.
Hello, sweet spirits. Welcome to the show. My name is Suzanne Sorrell, and I'm the host of the Evermore Paranormal Network. On this episode, I'm going to talk to you about some of my haunted objects that I purchased online through eBay. So let's get started. First, before I tell you about these objects that are sitting here in front of me, and I have others as well, I want to talk about a couple purchases that I did that I regretted. First of all, one of the first things that I bought online that was supposedly haunted were some dolls. This lady in Florida was selling dolls. It was her collection, and with the doll, you got a story, the backstory, and also a picture, a photo of the person that was haunting the doll. She had 3 up, so I bought all 3. They were inexpensive, like $15 each. So I bought those, and before they even arrived, she put 3 more dolls up, and I bought 3 more. So finally, I get 6 dolls in the mail, each with a picture and a little story about what was going on with the doll, the claims, and about the person, and so on. The problem was when I sat down and started looking at the story, the doll, and the photo, they didn't jive. They didn't correspond. The dolls that I got were newer, much newer than the doll that was supposedly given to someone in, say, 1962. One story in particular was I got a baby picture, and the baby had died right after the picture. The picture was from 1962. The sister of that person had given this clown doll to the baby, and the baby supposedly now haunts the clown doll. Well, the clown doll was dated 1978. 16 years after the baby passed away? So, then I started looking at the other objects, and I went, oh, okay, at least 3 of the 6 dolls I could, totally realize that they were frauds, that the object did not correspond to the picture and the story. So I contacted the lady, I sent them back, she gave me a refund, but she still insists that she wasn't lying and the stories were true. So another item I got was this hand mirror, and I'll tell you about that. I bought this mirror from a lady in Virginia, and she had a beautiful auction listing up, and the mirror was like $25. It looked like it was metal, and she said it was a portal to the other side. So I thought, cool. I know that, in my opinion, some mirrors are portals to the other side. So I went ahead and bought it. Later that day, I see the same listing with the same object. So I contacted the lady and I said, hey, I bought that object. I paid for it. Why is it listed? She says, oh, we have 4 of them. 4 of the same exact item. So anyway, I knew something was up. When this mirror arrived, it was a mirror mailed in a an envelope. Luckily, it didn't get broken. It did get scratched, and as a result, I contacted the lady and told her I wanted a refund because it was damaged. I couldn't complain that it was not haunted or it was a fraud, but that it was damaged. And you might notice that the mirror is plastic, something from like the dollar store. So I was glad that she gave me a refund and she let me keep the mirror. I didn't have to send it back. Long story short, be careful what you buy online because you don't know what you're going to get. You may see the picture, but like until you're holding it and feeling the energy from it or seeing exactly what it is, you may be, being scammed. So let me talk about these objects real quick because these 4 objects here I also bought online. They all have a little story, but I haven't seen any activity with any of these yet. You got to remember though, I have these objects stored away. So the first one is this purse. I bought this from a guy in Georgia, and all I know about this purse is that it was owned by a, quote, crazy psychic witch named Judith. So he says, she loved this purse. She's probably attached to this purse. I don't know because I haven't had it out to study it yet. Secondly, this doll. This doll, I have no info on this doll at all, just that it's considered haunted. And the reason I bought it is because its name was Suzanne. And I thought, hey, wouldn't that be cool to have a haunted doll named Suzanne? Then we have the pink pearl necklace and bracelet set. You may recall, if you've been watching the show, that I wore that on another episode. And basically the story is you have to wear the bracelet and necklace together and when you do, the woman that owned it will appear in the mirror as you're looking in the mirror, in the reflection. If you don't wear them together, you're not going to have that activity. And nothing, by the way, when I wore that, nothing happened that day. But I've only worn it once, and then I put it away. And then this is pretty cool. I love this necklace. This necklace is called Ginger's Curse necklace. I bought this from a lady in New Jersey, and I haven't worn it yet. It's been put away, but she found it hidden in a wall in a haunted house, a house that's considered haunted. Actually, the seller didn't find it, but this lady named Ginger found this necklace. She was supposed to get rid of it. Instead, she kept it. She couldn't get rid of it. But what happened is, because she kept it, her life started falling apart. And she started hearing whispers of a woman talking to her. And what's really interesting is that she wore this necklace, and when she wore it to a party one time, they got a picture of a woman standing behind her that nobody recognizes, that wasn't at the party. So it's called Ginger's Curse because whoever wears it, well, basically it's not a positive thing. Their life falls apart. This lady's attached to it. I love it. I'm going to wear it sometime on the show, and I'm going to test it out. So we're going to come back on the next segment, and I'm going to bring on some more objects that actually have been active since I got them. So we'll be right back.
My journey skating for the gold taught me a lot, but my journey with breast cancer has been one of my greatest teachers.
Every woman's breast cancer is unique. Be Wiser educates and empowers women to take control of their breast cancer treatment plan and help navigate their own path beyond 5 years.
Talk to your doctor about information and tests to personalize a treatment plan that fits your needs. I did. Be informed, be wiser, support survivors like us.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. On this segment, I'm going to talk about 3 objects that I purchased via eBay that have lived up to their claims, at least a little bit. First of all, I want to talk about this baby photo. It's actually, this photo I purchased this from a woman in Illinois, and she got it from someone else, like it was handed down through, you know, a family. Basically, it's a the baby in the photo died soon after it was taken. And the woman that lost the baby continued to carry this photo around, talk to it, and treat it as if it was still a living, breathing child. So the claims that occur are the photo moves by itself, it disappears and reappears in different locations, and people have claimed that they've been woken up by a baby crying in the night. So I've only had this photo for a few months, and I keep my objects locked away in the garage, and I don't want them in my living space. So one night, and I totally forgot, I have so many objects coming in, just forget the claims until something happens. One night I had a dream, and in the dream I hear a baby crying in the garage. And even I turn to my husband hears the baby crying in the garage. And we don't have any neighbors that have babies. I don't have any dolls that make baby noises. And so I realized when I woke up the next day and I told my husband about it, I thought, I wonder, why did I have that dream about the baby crying in the garage? Was I really hearing the baby? So I have heard a baby crying here and there since that time. So this photo has somewhat lived up to, you know, its expectations. I keep these things put away so that I'm not disturbed during the day. I thought being out in the garage, put away, it wouldn't bother me. So I'm going to talk about, the next object I want to talk about is this cameo pendant necklace. It's pretty, and it looks in pretty good condition, considering it's pretty old. I bought this from a woman in Colorado, and she bought a house that had been like completely abandoned, and the people that lived there had left everything and just left the place. So she got the house as well as the contents. So in the basement of this place, there's lots of stuff. Her husband doesn't want her to mess around with that stuff. But she goes down and she'll bring a few objects out from the basement. And this was one of the objects that she brought out to clean it up. She was going to like consign it or sell it, not knowing or thinking that something would happen. So anyway, she brought it up, left it in the kitchen. The next morning she got up, all of her knives were lined up on the counter in the kitchen. Her husband works nights, he wasn't home. The kids were away for the weekend, it was just her. So who pulled all the knives out of the drawer? Okay? So that was the story I got. Again, this time this item was sitting in my foyer. I hadn't put it in the garage yet. When one morning after I got up to see my husband off to work, I was watching the news, and my dogs were sitting there. We're sitting in the family room, and we keep hearing noises in the kitchen. And it's a big room. There's no obstruction between the family room and the kitchen. I heard creeping around. I heard noises going on, and my dogs would even look over there. But I couldn't see anything. The lights were all on, and I still didn't see anything. So about an hour after watching the news, my dogs need to go out to go to the bathroom. So I go over to let them out. I let them out, and I turn to my right, and I see our knife drawer wide open. I've lived at this house for 20 years. I have never experienced any of the cabinets, drawers open on their own, open accidentally. We don't leave them open. So I put two and two together and thought, this may be the spirit that's attached to this object, that it may actually be a real haunted object. Now, lastly, I bought this, and I was told when I bought this, it was an evil jester doll. So I bought this knowing that it may be trouble. Bought it from a woman in Vegas. Now, she was selling this doll. Somebody had given it to her because they wanted it out of their life. And the woman that gave it to her, she had been out shopping with her son, and her son begged her for this jester doll. He was like kicking and screaming. He wanted this so bad. But as soon as he got home, he threw it out of his room. He said, quote, it makes too much noise. And he said, it won't leave him alone. And it caused bad dreams. So the woman took it away from her son, and she started experiencing things. And the one thing that she experienced was she would hear the tiny noise. Let me see if I can can you hear that? The little tiny little bells of the jester doll. She would hear those. And she would hear a bell, and then she'd go to look and see where it was or what it was. She didn't know it was this. And this would be sitting there. It would move around the house. It would call her around by the bells. So again, this is sitting in my foyer. The day the box arrived. The day the box arrived, by the way. I mean, like, couldn't believe it. I left it in the foyer. I was upstairs working in the computer room, and I started hearing faint jingling bells. And I get up, I go to the top of the stairs. I heard it a few times, so I finally get up and go to the top of the stairs to look down because it's in the foyer area. Again, not putting two and two together yet. And I hear, every time I got up to figure out what the noise was and where it was coming from, it would stop. Same kind of story that the lady reported. So after a few times, and I thought, well, maybe it's the dogs, but I know the dog tags have a different sound. So I finally yell down to the dogs. I go, I'll be down in a minute. And I hear a child's voice say, okay. Of course, I about fainted. It came from the same area where this was sitting. Still in the box now. Hadn't opened it up yet. And that really freaked me out. So these three items, I think, have a little bit of, backing behind their story. So we'll be right back to talk about one of my most scariest objects that I've purchased from eBay.
Losing weight's a lot harder than gaining it, but with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am getting ready to open an item that I purchased on eBay. I purchased this from a guy in Tennessee about 3 months ago, and I've been afraid to open it because it started showing activity before I even received it. When I bought this item, and I'm going to open it in a second, when I bought this item, all I knew was that it was an urn, like a ceramic porcelain urn, that had been sitting in an attic for 81 years, untouched and forgotten. So, the day that, basically, I'm going to open it up. And I already pre-cut it, so we're going to, at least I haven't been in here yet, so this is going to be new to you as well as to me. And I'm really afraid because it started being active, before I got it. And let me just get, you just don't know how I feel right now. It's beautiful. I'm an antiques and collectibles dealer, and so I think I've even had one of these before. But basically, I'm going to take the plastic off so you all can see it, and then I'll finish telling the story. Well, it's got tape. It is very pretty. And I've been afraid to open it. Let me just finish opening this real quick. Get it open. And I'll tell you the rest of the story. Just cutting this plastic off. Actually, I think I have had one of these. I've been an antiques and collectibles dealer. I'm going to take this off. Excuse me. You don't know, my heart's pounding. And I'm also want to turn, as soon as I get this plastic off, I'm going to turn on the ovilus in case the spirit wants to talk to me. Well, I kind of wondered when I got this. Okay, so here is the urn. I'm just going to look at it real quick. It looks very clean on the inside. It has flowers. It's blue, and it's kind of has like an oriental kind of pattern on it. No chips, no maker's mark is one of the first things we look at as an antiques dealer. And it's in very excellent condition, considering its age, if that's true. But anyway, I'm going to turn the ovilus on, and maybe the spirit, while I finish telling the story, maybe the spirit will communicate with us, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know if anything. When you turn on ovilus, this is ovilus 3. When you turn it on, it always says dictionary mode, and that's the mode that I have it in. So anyway, I bought this urn. I'm afraid of this thing, right? And the guy said that the urn was kept in an attic for 81 years untouched, which I already mentioned. That it had ashes in it of a man that died in 1936. He and a friend had gone to the friend's grandmother's house that had been abandoned and forgotten for a long time. And when they were exploring, they ran across this urn in the attic. And so the guy that I bought it from, he told his friend, "Oh, I like it. I'd like to have it." And the girl, his friend, said, "Go ahead, you can take it. I'll take the ashes out. I'll put them somewhere else in another urn." So that's what was supposedly done. So he takes this home because he was attracted to it. Note that nothing has happened on the ovilus, by the way, not yet. And so he takes it home, and for a few weeks, it's fine. He really adores the look of it. Well, one night, in the middle of the night, he started hearing the lid of the urn rattling. I mean, probably like this. It just said short. Okay, do you hear that? He's hearing that. More like, probably like that. So he's hearing this rattling of the urn. Then he starts hearing a very high-pitched whistle, almost like a tea kettle. Now, this happened several times, and he decided to get rid of the urn, and he sold it. Now, so before I knew none of these details were in the auction listing. And so I contacted him and wanted more information. And he told me that the guy in the urn's name was Jack, and that he had originally been buried at a cemetery, but he was exhumed and then cremated, and then they left him in the attic in the urn for 81 years. 81 years he sat alone. Now, I didn't know what activity. By the way, the ovilus said short. I'm looking at this and thinking, it is awful small. Usually, I mean, my mom's urn, and I have her remains. It's huge. I don't know. I mean, that is a very small urn to hold human remains. But you never know. So what really scared me really quickly now, because we're running out of time, is that I had no idea the thing about the whistling. And let's see, he had mailed the item, and then he sends me a message, and it just said a name, and it's somebody that it's not the person that's usually with me. So anyway, I'm getting chills. Actually, it's the person that follows me around everywhere, and it's not this person. So about a couple of days after he mailed the urn, I hear a high-pitched whistle in my right ear. It was faint. There was 3 whistles in my master bedroom. I had no idea at that point what this urn did. So then, let's see, 4 days later, I'm upstairs in the master bedroom and I hear whistles down the on the other end of my darkened hallway. Again, scared me. Then this was really scary and kind of corresponds with the story. About 2 weeks after the urn arrived, in the middle of the night at about 1:15, I heard whistling downstairs in the middle of the night where the urn was sitting in the hallway in the box. And lastly, later that day, the same day, I was in the shower and I heard whistling several times. So the whistling phenomena has continued. It just said express. And basically the 3 words I got during this segment was short, Paul, express. And Paul wants me to say his name, I guess. He follows me around everywhere, and he's not a good spirit. It's not Jack. So anyway, I'm going to ignore anything else he says. So I hope I'm getting total, complete chills right now. I'm really, I think Paul is here with me right now, not the spirit that is attached to the urn. So anyway, thank you for watching the Evermore Paranormal Network. I hope you enjoyed the show.